pass up to Brad.
Okay, we are joined by FS1 NBA analyst Chris BROUSSARD.
Yep.
All right, some interesting comments. Chris, can the Celtics be fixed?
It's interesting that the two flagship franchises of the NBA are both in drama, full drama. All right. Yes, though, undoubtedly. I am still very high on these Celtics.
Really?
I don't care
Very high?
Meaning I give them a shot in the East. I don't care what the record says. They are one of the top 3 teams in the East. It's Milwaukee, Toronto, and Boston all on one level. Philly, I know you guys, I think you like Philly.
I think you do, right?
I said it when you guys were on vacation, and I'll say it again. There is absolutely, positively, no way Philadelphia will beat Boston in a playoff series. They got the Sixers number. They've beaten them 17 of the last 20 games.
Yeah.
And as much as I like, and I've said it on this show, I love Simmons and Embiid. They're not mature enough yet not to beat that team.
Well, they got Jimmy Buckets. You love
Jimmy Butler's now the leader. We've seen that. I mean, when he's in the locker room with young kids, it's disruptive. And Tobias hasn't been in that position as a leader. So they don't have a leader. And I think Brett Brown's a good coach.
He is.
But Brad Stevens out-coaches him when they play. Okay. We saw that last year. So I think that Boston is very fixable. Now, they got some issues. What I'm told is that the problems are really on the court. Like, it's not like the guys really dislike each other. Kyrie's kind of close with Jason Tatum, close with Terry Rozier. Like, so I think the relationships are fine off the court. It's just everybody accepting their roles on the court. I think 2 things have to happen for them to fix this. One, Kyrie has obviously struggled with leadership, right? First, he went on the calling out the young players route. And then he went to the using LeBron as a prop route, right? To get them to see, you know what I'm saying? Right? Like, look, I was where you at. I understand, but, you know, follow me. Then he went lead by example, which was good. He averaged 30 and 10 for a 7-game stretch or whatever.
He's been really good.
He's playing terrific.
Last night, you could just throw out the whole mess of it.
Okay.
Now he's going, obviously, the no-comment route. Okay, so he's struggling with leadership. I think Kyrie needs to go to Brad Stevens and say, look, I want to have a players-only meeting. So don't do it behind his back like it's just the players versus the coach. Tell Brad, I want to have a players-only meeting. Meet with your teammates and say, look, I was wrong for putting our dirty laundry out in the media.
That would help.
Right? I'm learning just like all of us, you know, from this point, and I apologize. From this point forward, let's keep everything in-house. We're not together. You know, guys don't like each other or, you know, all that, because that does make it worse, because especially in today's media climate.
Even if you didn't air it, I saw you got on dirty clothes, so I know something going on.
Who's seen it? Nobody's. We
We
only know it because they all said it.
We see the way they playing. Something ain't right.
Regular season, okay, so that leads me to part 2. I think Kyrie needs to say that. Part 2. This is the problem with the players on the court. Jason Tatum has gotten better individually. Jaylen Brown has gotten better individually, and now they're playing more like ISO guys. Like they want to get theirs, whereas in the past few years, it was let's do what Brad says. And it was one guy. It was Isaiah Thomas, and everybody else do what you're supposed to do. Kyrie, and everybody else do what you're supposed to do. And what they have, maybe Ainge needs to say something, or Brad, look, I get you guys are better. You can do more things. But Jason, your stock around the league, or you were viewed as better when you were just doing what you were supposed to do. Jaylen Brown definitely has seen his stock drop. Terry Rozier. So let's play our role. You're going to get shine if we win. Right. Even if you're only scoring 16 points a game or whatever. So I think it's very fixable because Brad Stevens is whether he can handle superstars is a question.
It is.
But I think it's fixable. I'm not saying they'll win the East. I'm just saying they definitely better than Philadelphia. And I think that Milwaukee and Toronto just may be better. But I think they can get to the second round and have a shot to win the East.
For me, I think his expectations are catching up with him. Everybody just assumed they went to Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals without Kyrie, without Gordon Hayward. And as you mentioned, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Terry Rozier, shine. Okay, now Kyrie
And by the way, no Isaiah last year.
No
so,
Isaiah.
yeah.
Right,
Okay.
right.
And Kyrie got hurt, what, February, March.
Yeah.
So you played the last stretch of the regular season,
He did.
and all the playoffs without Kyrie. Now, Kyrie comes back. All those shots that Jason Tatum was taking uninhibited, Kyrie getting them. Jaylen Brown goes from being a starter playing 35 minutes a night to coming off the bench. Oh, wait a minute. Kyrie, you interfere with my shine. People started talking about Jason Tatum legit. Jason Tatum, I say in 2-3 years, Jason Tatum gonna be an all-star. He gonna be a superstar. That ain't what they saying right now.
That's not how it looks.
Yeah, and everybody was talking, oh, Jason Tatum is this and Jaylen Brown. Are we sure that the package that Boston can put together with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown better than Ingram and Kuzma? We can't say that right now, can we?
I'm not going to say that.
Can we say that?
I think you can say it.
How?
Tatum.
All
I
I
don't
know,
know.
all I
Chris.
know, Ingram and what
I think it's arguable, but I'll give you it's arguable.
Well, last year, that'd have been a slam dunk.
Right.
Boom.
Guess what? Jason Tatum last year averaged, guess how many? 14 points a game. Not like 24 points, but 14. This year he's
playoffs,
up.
he was
okay, he was.
Right.
But this year he's up to 16 points a
Right.
game, and he looks worse than he did last year.
And,
Okay?
and you
Go
know
ahead.
the big Brad Stevens, Skip, Brad Stevens, Chris, the thing that we know about coaches, if you look at the coaches that's won a lot of, and some of them are great, and I'm not taking anything from Pop, but if you look at Phil Jackson, I don't know if it was coaching or him being able to handle egos.
Totally
Because-
agree. No, it was all. It was all
It was all a mix.
That's the thing.
Right.
So now Brad Stevens, when he coached at Butler, dude, you getting one-star recruits. They ain't got no egos. Butler was their only choice.
Right.
You ain't got to deal with what Coach K and John Calipari and Roy Williams and Bill and Self and Kansas got to deal with. So now you come in. You got Kyrie. Remember now, Kyrie said he wanted to go on his own and be his own boss.
Yep.
So now Kyrie coming with that mentality. I see what LeBron had. I want that. Right. I see what KD. I see what other superstars get. Oh, Kyrie need that too. And these other guys, they bucket. They're like, bro, we went to Game 7. I'm surprised one of them hit him with that Draymond hit KD with. We were winning before you got here. Bro, we went to the Eastern Conference Finals. We played all through the playoffs without you. And now you come back here and monk up our chemistry. We ain't having it. Kyrie gone. On Uncle Drew,
I agree with that.
Kyrie gone, Chris.
I think there's still a chance quickly that let's see how it plays out. I do think he's going to end up leaving, but I don't think Boston is totally out of it. That's all I'm saying.
Everybody in that locker room thinks the leader, quote unquote, is out the door, right?
That's why they take a shot.
Yeah.
Why would you not do everything you possibly could to make sure, hey, man, hey, Kyrie's playing unbelievable, blah, blah, blah. But I made it, we was close the past couple of years. Well, Kyrie only been there 2 years.
Yep.
When were you close? When he been there? That's what I need to know, Chris.
My bottom line, my takeaway right now on February 27th,
7th.
shocking mess, unfixable mess. I do not see this team beat, and right now as it stands, they would have to play Philly without home court in round number 1. I don't think they could beat Philly. Philly arguably has the best starting 5 in basketball, and I'm not sure about the bench, but I'm sure enough about Embiid, Ben Simmons, JJ, Jimmy Buckets.
Tobias.
I'm sure enough, and Tobias. I'm just sure enough they could beat a very troubled Boston Celtics. And I agree with you. It doesn't feel off the court. It feels on the court, deeply troubled. And it starts with the one star that Brad Stevens did have at Butler named Gordon Hayward. And I have never been a fan. I wasn't a fan before the draft. I was dumbfounded at the hysteria over his free agency 2 years ago. Like, what are you talking about? He now makes $32 million a year to come off the bench for the Boston Celtics. That's troubling to that locker room. You don't think they all look sideways at Gordon? Not that he's a bad guy, because he's a nice guy.
And he's not as good as Tatum or Jaylen Brown.
No, come on. How would you even put him in the same
That
sentence
injury
with
robbed
them?
him, Chris.
Hey, $32 million to average 11 points and 5 rebounds a game. He started 17 of 51, so he mostly comes off the bench. That's a problem. Kyrie's a problem. He's still the best closer in basketball. There's nobody I want to see with the ball in his hands with 30 seconds left than that guy. That guy
That's why I still give him a shot.
You could be right, and I'll give you that much, but he is no leader. He's not you're born to lead. You're not chosen. You can't appoint yourself. And he tried to appoint himself, and it did not work in this locker room. And I liked what Isaiah Thomas said. I'm not talking about the new one, but the old one, the Hall of Fame one. That's the big Isaiah, right? Last night on TNT. He said they don't enjoy playing together, and they just don't. I watched the body language. There's no joy in it whatsoever. Last year, the ball moved because they were all kind of interchangeable parts, and it was all fun. And Terry Rozier would come in and be scary Terry and just light it up. And they got in a rhythm and a rotation of, this is your role, this is your role, you get to do this, you get to do this. And the ball would just fly around. They played defense at the high, weren't they maybe one of the best defenses, right?
They're still top 5.
They're top 5, but they don't play with that edge they played with on defense last year. And now that you think Kyrie's going to be out the door, you're just like, let's just get this over with and go on to next year. I think at its soul, this team has torment and trouble, and it's on the court, not off. But to me, I would not trust them going into a series against Philadelphia. And again, I liked Philly from the start, and I think Joel Embiid is the best player in the East. And I give you Greek Freak, and you've been on Milwaukee's bandwagon from the start, and that's a very deep team. And every time I watch Toronto now, with more new pieces and Jeremy Lin and Gasol.
What new piece they got? They got a new piece in the summer.
You mean Siakam?
No.
Did you see Siakam last night?
Clark.
Okay, but that team is loaded from top to bottom. And Van Vliet's sitting over there in street clothes right now, and it didn't even matter because they just lit up the Celtics. They ran them off the floor last night.
All that said, and Milwaukee and Toronto may just be better than Boston.
They might be.
But this Boston team, with all its issues, went to Milwaukee, which has the best home record in the East, and went to the last second, and the NBA admitted Kyrie got fouled twice.
I tweeted it immediately. He should have been shooting 2 free throws, and you know what would have happened? He would have made them both.
I agree. So, look, you said it. Arguably the best closer in the game. Not just the last shot, but those. He had 10 points, I think, in the last 2.5 minutes. He's scary at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And then you got, look, I know they have issues, but they're still top 5 defensively. And when you don't play well together or don't have chemistry, defense is usually the thing to go, because defense, you have to be on a string. You have to be connected. You have to be talking. So that is still there. They're tough. They're gritty. I know they got issues. I just don't think it's unfixable.
Yeah, Terry Rozier and Jaylen Brown said, why we playing 20 minutes when we were playing 30 last year?
But what's going to help them? Winning.
Yeah.
Because you only playing 20 minutes, period. Win or lose, you only going to get your 20-something minutes.
Everybody says they want to win. But I need my numbers, Chris Broussard. Winning don't get me paid.
It's real.
Winning don't get you a max contract.
A lot of them still in the rookie scale. I get it.
But they don't want to be.
That's why most young guys don't win. Because it's establish yourself.
Yeah.
That's the first step.
I get you put it together and stop taking shortcuts, which is what they keep saying.
You see that money out there, Chris?
Okay, different